over there at 7 and North. And I told her at this point,
Oh, 7 o'clock? Sure.
went with them.
Yeah, because we.
Call the,
Supply
I'm sorry.
At 7 o'clock, so I'd like to call to order the town of Farmington planning board meeting for October 20th, 2021. Start by the pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, meeting, there's so
You have people online.
online, yeah, but in here, I don't, we don't know where the exits are, so I go through all that. Just ask that all the phones and things that make noise are silenced. If anyone does come in, there's agendas and sign sheet over there. Tonight we got planning board here. We have Eric Sweeney, Ellis, DeLucia, myself, Doug Beats, and Ed is not on, right?
That is not
Good. Hope he's enjoying his anniversary. So we got clerk is John Rotella, Director of Development, Ron Brand, Code Enforcement, Dan Lori, and Highway Superintendent Andrew, and Town Engineer Lance Brady. This meeting is going to be conducted with the rules and procedures adopted by the board on January 21st, 2021, along with the remote participation public meetings the town board adopted. Okay, next item, I guess, is the approval of minutes from the October 6th meeting. Any corrections, additions, or good?
So moved.
Moved by Adrian, second by
Tim.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So the legal notices were published Wednesday, October 13th, 21. They're published in Canandaigua Messenger newspaper, along with the town bulletin board, posted on the town bulletin board and the town's website. And as well as any draft resolutions that have been previously posted on the town website for tonight's meeting. To begin the meeting, there is a new public hearing, so we will open that and then we will hold that over till later after we go through the continued public hearings, which is our standard rules and procedures. So the item that we are opening for a new public hearing is the public hearing for PB 1001-21 preliminary 2-lot subdivision for James and Nancy Langa, which we then will go back to go through the continued items first for our rules and procedures. So, so the first item then will be the continued public hearing for the PB 0703-21 preliminary site plan approval for lot number 4, Loomis Road Industrial Park. And everybody online, or we just go right to staff? Ron?
I'm going to defer to Dan because he's got all that. Yeah, so I talked to the applicant and the applicant's engineer. They have a project that they're working in Victor as well at the same time. It's taking a little bit more of their time than first anticipated. So they are asking for the board to give them a continuation as they try to get all of their items in a row here. I did ask them if they would be willing to wrap up the special use permit. That's also on for continuation, and the applicant would like to run those together just to provide you guys the most information he can. And he doesn't want to come forth with a incomplete or missing items for you. So they're asking for a continuation at this time. And we did get that in writing from them.
Both at the same date too, right?
Right.
Okay. All right,
I know that Ron has drafted up 2 continuation resolutions. The only thing that we are asking is that they also give a update at the next PRC meeting.
okay. I think probably no one else has any comments on this.
I have no business plan.
Ron?
Yeah, you should ask if there's anybody online.
Public hearing.
Yeah, it's a public hearing, you open.
Okay, is there's anybody online, would like to speak for or against this application? One more time, is there anybody online in the chat? Dan?
Nothing's in chat at this point, and it doesn't look like anybody's coming unmuted, so.
Okay.
Can we box both of them?
Yeah.
Or just-
No, because you haven't opened the second one yet.
Okay.
All right, okay, they were going to the resolution for continuing it, so this one, I have a motion to continue this to November 17th and waive the reading of the resolution and approve as submitted by town staff.
Motion by Tim.
Second by
Adrian,
Richard, you roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweeney,
Aye.
Adrian Velez,
aye.
Doug Weeks.
Aye. Okay. All right, next item is the continued special use permit.
As I just reported about the other continuation, the applicant does want this continued and run simultaneously with their preliminary site.
Okay. I guess we'll go online if there's anybody online that would like to speak for against this application. Once again, anybody online like to speak for against this public for this application?
Nothing's in chat, so you should be on site.
Okay. Could I have a motion to continue this to November 17th and waive the reading of that resolution and approve it as submitted by town staff?
So moved.
Moved by Adrian, seconded by
Aaron.
Aaron. Or take a roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweeney,
Aye.
Adrian Velez,
Aye.
Doug Weeks. Okay.
Next item is the new public hearing. It is PB 1001-21. Preliminary public hearing for preliminary 2-lot subdivision. Applicant is James and Nancy Klango. They online?
They are online,
So
so
representing?
yes, the applicant appears to be online.
Okay, guess maybe you could give a rundown of what this is about here. Are they going to speak?
We need to clarify that we're asking them to.
Yeah. If the applicant would unmute and tell us about the project.
Hello, this is Dylan Falanga. We're requesting for a subdivision, and it's going to be a future house project. Mike Green should be hopping on in a few minutes. He's our surveyor that we've hired to go through and survey the land and create the site plan.
Ask his name again, please.
Sure.
That's Jim DeLucia.
No,
Let's go.
You said it was a different name.
say your name again, please.
Dylan, Jim, and Nancy Falanga.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, okay. So I guess go to staff then.
Well, is anybody going to explain what is the subject of the public hearing?
Oh, I thought you did a 2-lot subdivision.
Creating 2 lots on the north side of Fox Road, west of Yellow Mills. Lot number 1 is to contain a total of, there's 6.329 acres, and lot number 2, approximately 90 acres. And it's being approved, asking approval for non-buildable lots because there's no details on septic, water, any of that. So that's the nature of the application that's before you. Let's go to the county.
And no, it's a exempt action from the county.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I tried to send it to the county and it says that, so.
Okay, do you have any other comments on, or?
No, I don't have any other comments. I prepared a draft resolution for the board's consideration. We do have some feedback from the Green Land Surveying PLLC, which hopefully they want to address those. If not, if the applicant has had the opportunity to read the resolution, does he have any concerns with it?
Okay. Is anyone from, was it Mike Green, is he on that?
I do not see him online yet.
Okay.
So Mike Green's having an issue with his Zoom login. He's working on it right now. Sorry about that.
And I guess, is there anything that you have?
I mean, staff has done a review, submitted our comments. They have been addressed in the draft resolution. And at this point, I don't really have much more to offer, at least on the subdivision at this point. I do know that they are looking to move a site plan after they get preliminary for the subdivision.
Okay.
And then after the site plan, we would, if they got preliminary for the site plan, we would look to move both of them together, subdivision first for final, then site plan final. But procedurally, we're only at subdivision tonight. So I do know that there was some questions out there about the site plan, but we tackle one thing at a time. Yep.
Anyone? No. Vice, do you have any?
Yeah, MRB issued a comment letter dated October 15th. For the most part, pretty minor in nature. I did receive a response letter from the applicant's surveyor, excuse me, an engineer, and that was dated October 18th. It appears most, if not all, the comments are intended to be addressed. I don't have anything additional this time related to the subdivision. That's before you guys.
Okay. Anything at that?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
You know, you can always call in if he's having difficulty getting the right channel there on the Zoom.
Okay. I guess, I mean, it is a public hearing, so we can see if is there anybody online that would like to speak for or against this application? Try one more time on that. Is there anybody online speak for or against it? Okay, I guess we'll keep going through board comments and see if technical issues resolved. Aaron, do you have anything on this?
Yeah. So as far as the seeker goes, it says you are going to be, and we may have to wait for a mic on this, but there's a forest plot, forest area in that parcel. How much of that forest is going to be cut down compared to how much is there?
That's getting into the site.
Yeah, so I think it's important just to, I'm not saying the question's not a good question, sounds like a great question. I just want to make it clear. The subdivision, the seeker that's before you guys is related to the subdivision of land. The site
Right.
plan itself, which is not before you yet, which involves disturbances and clearing of trees, will come before you, and then that, I think, is more pertaining to that aspect. That, if because I don't know that answer.
Yeah.
I don't know that answer right now.
Okay. But it's something before us if we.
I have not seen the site plan. I haven't seen anything affiliated with that. It's my understanding that's coming next.
Yeah, so this is more just changing.
This is just lines on the plan.
Lot.
That's it. No disturbances, no improvements being proposed at this time, strictly just a buildable, not a non-buildable lot.
All right, so that's a question I'll ask what discuss later on. So then I don't think I have anything for this here.
Adrian, do you have any?
I do not.
Yeah.
Not for this part.
Right. Tim?
The same, I don't have anything for this one.
Okay, yeah, I didn't either.
I mean, if the applicant is okay with the resolution and all that stuff, I mean, I don't think we really need to talk. Do we need to talk to Mike? I mean, I'm not.
Well, to be clear, there's water available to it, which is one of the elements that we look for in subdivision. They have accessible, potentially accessible driveways that they could put in for either the two lots to do the site distance is reflected on the plat. And then sewer, we can't confirm yet, that's ultimately why it's being deemed a non-buildable lot this time, because that's something that will have to be determined as part of the site plan application, if and when they come before you on that.
Right. So I'm just saying. If Mike doesn't get on, I mean, as long as the
I think then you go to the Flangas and ask them if they have any
As long as
questions.
they're okay with the resolution, if they read it and the conditions, we can move on.
Oh, hold on. We have a phone number that just logged out.
Okay.
Mike, is that you?
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. Okay, Mike, I guess, we'll turn over to you, see if you have, any additions to add to this.
Well, unfortunately, I was, I guess, clicking on the wrong meeting or something. It took me there from your calendar, but I guess I'm in now. Did you guys have any issues that weren't addressed by our response letter or anything like that?
So the response letter that he's mentioning is coming to town staff today. It has not gone to this board. The response letter was in response to MRB's letter and the draft resolution. Staff has looked over some of that at this point, but it hasn't been fully reviewed. The conditions that are set forth in the resolution though today is our standard conditions that we look for in every subdivision. So I know that he had some concerns with those, but again, those are standard conditions. Keep everything consistent.
Okay. I mean,
So basically, we're getting what, preliminary approval tonight for the subdivision?
With the conditions in the resolution.
Okay. Standard procedure.
Yeah, so are you okay with the conditions of this?
Yes, we addressed them all, and I think it's straightforward from here.
Okay.
Okay,
Is the applicant.
is that, I mean, Langas, are you, okay with that as well?
Yeah, Yep. We're all set with that. Thank you.
All right.
You deal with the seats first.
Yep. Says a type 2 action. That's a can I have a motion waive the reading and.
Close the hearing?
Oh, close the hearing, yeah. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
By Adrian, second.
Second.
Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Jim Lucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweetie,
Aye.
Adrian Bellis, Doug Leeds.
Aye. Public
Hearing's
hearing is closed.
And I move to waive the reading of the seeker and approve it as written.
Perfect. Second by
Aaron.
Aaron. Can I do a roll call vote, please?
Jim Lucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweetie,
Aye.
Adrian Bellis, Doug Leeds.
Aye.
That's the seeker.
Okay, the next item up would be the preliminary subdivision plat approval. Applicant has agreed to the resolutions. I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this by town staff.
Motion by Tim.
Second by Adrian.
Roll call vote, please.
Jim Lucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweetie,
Aye.
Adrian Bellis, Doug Leeds.
Aye.
That's the subdivision.
Okay.
Chairman, with that being passed, at your next meeting, you will be reviewing the site plan.
Okay.
For preliminary. Okay, so that everybody's on the same page. Staff will do their review and then we'll get that out to you guys.
Sounds good. And the revisions have to come in for signature from.
Yeah.
Subdivision.
On the preliminary plan.
Okay. All right. That's it on that one. Thank you. We continue to set plans. DD 080321. I believe that's the right number. Yeah, Michelle. Okay. It's a preliminary site plan approval for safe place storage. This one also has been continued.
Yeah, I can talk on this one.
Okay.
The applicant's engineer reached out to us. They did go to our PRC meeting. They were informed of some additional requirements per new code that went through that was approved by the town board in regards to sprinklers and buildings. And they are also looking at the variances that they would need. So the engineer of the applicant is asking for more time as they look at the site a little differently and what they need to do. And so they're asking for continuation. Just that was one issue. The other issue is the surveyor that had to go back out there. Their backlog, they couldn't get out there until next week. So they missed all sorts of our submittal dates. So they just asked for continuation at this point.
Okay. I assume they probably read the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay with it. So, and that's not a public hearing, right? I mean,
Nope.
yeah, so
And again, one of the requirements is going to be coming to the PRC.
that's all. Okay, and that's part of the resolution. Condition. So,
That was bumped up to the 17,000, right?
Yeah.
was it? Or did that go up further? For some reason I had December 15th.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah, it's
I just want to make sure. I
that's
have the
what,
right
that's
date
what
there.
it was.
December 15th.
Okay.
I apologize for that. They asked for, that's why that additional time.
Okay. Public hearing, board comments, nothing, so, I have a
I moved away that we approve it.
version and continue to December 15th. I have a,
I'll second. Eric.
all right. Please roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweeney,
Aye.
Adrian Bellis, Doug Leeds.
Sure. Okay, on to other board action now. Police corner, phase 1, letter of credit release number 3.
Correct. This is a partial letter of credit release for the earthwork that was conducted over there in phase 1 of the project. If you recommend it tonight, it'll be an action item on next Tuesday's board meeting. Draft resolution has been prepared, the forms have been submitted and signed. Everything is ready to go.
Straightforward. Any comments from the board on that? Everyone good? Okay. I have a motion to waive the reading of that and approve this submitted.
Motion by Tim.
Second by Aaron. Roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia,
Aye.
Aaron Sweeney,
Aye.
Adrian Bellis,
Aye.
Doug Leeds.
Aye. So, open discussion.
Okay. First up is the town did complete the decommissioning plan for the Delaware River Solar Project. That has been filed in the county clerk's office. And we are waiting for them to submit their letter of credit so we can get that filed with the town clerk and schedule a public or a pre-construction meeting on that. So that is underway. Second item I have for you again is a Delaware River solar item. And that is send an email out to you with the decision on the motion that has been rendered by Judge Doran. And the town has offered to give you an hour's training for you to read through the conditions that the court held. There's a lot of secret ramifications there that He did a great job on it, I might say. And we'll discuss that when the chairman gets back to fulfill the obligation requirements of that. Third item is a information update on Market Center. We did have a packet submitted by Costage Engineers showing a new design and new items being considered there. They've moved some buildings around. They've added some buildings to the east end of the Cops Market Plaza building. And staff will be meeting tomorrow morning to go over the amenities that are being offered and the incentives that are being requested, so that a report can be made to the town board whether to proceed with this or send back a letter stating what needs to be corrected. And the other remaining item that I have is next Thursday night, 6:30, comprehensive plan update, public hearing. The committee is doing the presentation. Two members of the planning board, one of them at the time they were a member of the zoning board of appeals, and now they're a member of the planning board. But Aaron Sweeney and Tim DeLucia will be presenting two of the chapters of the document, giving an overview of what the contents are and how it all relates. And Dan will be doing the camera work for the instant replays. So I think, that's basically all that I have.
Okay.
Yeah, things have been fairly busy. I will let you guys know on a grant that we're working on, we're awarded, was a scanning grant to convert our files that are in our office all to digital. We've been boxing them up and then we're going to pick them up this week. And so we're going away from filing cabinets to a more digital world. And so we're pretty excited about that. And the grant covers probably 90% of our files. So yeah, so we're pretty happy with that award. So been quite busy trying to get everything ready to be shipped out, but we're in a good spot. And I think it's the first step of many for our departments here at the town. And we're going to continue going in that direction to get things more digitized through each department.
Schedule a bonfire?
Well, we're still keeping them, but for a while, we've been making sure all the digital stuff's correct.
Yeah.
It takes about 6 months for them to digitize all 5 that we're setting out. So,
But he does have an offer starting next week. Buy one file cabinet, you get one free.
that's right. And
Need to pick up.
yeah. So, but everything else is going well. Still a lot of action with applications coming in the door. Ron touched on the Son of Zoning that we're going to be reviewing here. But we also do have some other projects still going to be in front of you. November, again, as you can remember, we continued some to November already. We continued a couple more tonight to November and December. So we still have a bunch of projects in front of you. That's all I have.
Okay.
What's on the docket for the first one, do you remember? Roughly?
I knew you were going to ask, and I don't off the top of my head, but I believe we have a couple big ones.
Yeah, the house.
GNA.
House,
Yeah.
preliminary.
The preliminary for the flying as GNA, that's your bank next to Burger King.
Primary comments, right?
Yeah, the Farmington Commons. Thank you, Lance. So I know those are on there. I don't know what else is on that first one, but and again, your comments coming back to us are always helpful. Helps us draft resolutions for you guys the best that we can. So I appreciate everything from this.
From the highway, guys are working on getting odds and end things caught up. That said, we are starting to hang iron on some of these trucks, the front riggings and wings are starting to go on some of the smaller trucks. So we're prepared. I've seen, we've been salting on Halloween before. Parks, they continue to mow and keep the fields. We got some fall ball going on and whatnot, so Parks is busy with that. In referencing the millings pile over at American Equipment, we had been given probably 300-400 ton of that, which we took out, built a pad area in our backyard. I had got stopped by Harry. Harry once again called me and offered some of it to Robin. I think Robin's got an interest of about 400 ton of it, which when he can, he's gonna start moving it out of there. That said, I've seen the pile growing.
Say they're still working on 490, so.
Yeah. So there is still stuff coming in. According to Harry, he was gonna give us what we wanted and then he had the rest of it sold. So, you know,
So there's an agenda to get rid of it, it's just he's getting more of it before he gets rid of it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess definitely moving forward to next season, we gotta make sure that he's, but I understand that's not really an option.
Don, you gonna help water and sewer and all that, or he's got to do it with his truck?
if Robin still chooses, I will be glad to help him. At this point, other than sending Harry in Robin's direction to find out what he needed, what he wanted, I've not felt the speed on what's happening in that aspect, other than I know that Robin was offered some of it. And that's all I got.
Thanks.
Pretty quiet. We're a lot going on with the town, obviously, as Dan and Ron alluded. We are working on site design criteria updates again, which is a common thing. Trying to get some more specific as it relates to the lights. So our light fixtures are going to be changing a little bit and starting to be reflected on plans going forward, hopefully with the detail. And now we have some additional requests based on DOT comments that we're working on. So that's where our focus is right now, is trying to get those updated before the end of the year, so we can start moving on the other stuff that's on the plate for the town.
It's pretty quiet when you're on vacation, huh?
It's nice.
Wondering where you were.
Far away.
It got so bad, I had phone calls from Canada. You know where Lance is?
It's better when I don't tell anybody.
Okay, board, do you have anything?
Don, you had your hand up?
Yeah,
Oh, Don, yeah.
Lance mentioned lights, so it rang a bell in there, you know. Things that float around there and then keyword light bulb. The pedestrian crossing lights arrived Monday over there for the trail on County Road 41. Peter has signed the paperwork that went out today to the county to get the right-of-way work permit in order. I also yesterday afternoon called in a stakeout, so once we get these things in line, we will be digging a hole, pouring concrete anchors. The concrete we're gonna give a couple weeks, but I'm hoping to have these things operational by the end of this month.
Cool. Are those the push button ones, or are they just?
They are.
Oh, they, okay.
You're looking to push button.
They see more of those around.
Similar to like the ones in Canada.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
They got flashing lights both directions. Yep. Yeah, they're nice units.
Oh, yeah, that does draw attention.
I think I'll go out there 3-4 times a day and stop driving.
Go ahead.
They are, the battery, I've been told I could get 700 presses a day, so go for it.
There you go.
They have fun. You're gonna have a sword figure.
Okay, so a couple questions. So the questions I send out this time, especially to the board and to you guys, I was told, because there was a lot of them, like you said, they were, talking to Adrian before this too, they were for the site plan. So I was under the impression that I was gonna get a response back saying no or yes. Is that not what happens?
So I've gotten a lot of questions from Doug before, and it depends where it comes to the staff. In this case, I could have swore I sent you an email back saying these are all site plan related.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I didn't, that's as far as I went, because they're going to be addressed as soon as you see the site plan.
Okay, so I overlooked that email. Okay.
So,
So I did get a response and my question was answered.
so yes, I responded back saying these are site plan related questions. And not that they weren't great questions, because they were.
It's just not for this, right?
It wasn't for, and that's why tonight, this is more drawing lines on a map, as I think somebody said earlier, that we were looking at.
Yeah.
Subdivisions are more that way, site plans are more where you're gonna dive into the weeds and get all the details.
Dan, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what is the procedure for those comments again? They submit comments to whom?
So,
Usually goes to Ed.
yeah, so
You guys submit comments to Ed, Ed forwards them to town staff, and then depending upon who needs to see them, maybe all of us, maybe directed to one person in particular. You
Yeah.
guys then forward them out.
So the comments that Adrian sent actually came from Adrian,
Aaron.
or Aaron, sorry.
Wow, it goes both ways.
So from Aaron.
You did respond to him, that's
But
Yeah,
it
I
did,
saw.
I believe it was directed to Ron and myself, that email.
Yes.
Because I believe I told you to just email us
Correct.
about it, which is fine.
I was just curious for myself.
So procedurally wise, the staff does a review. We put together the packets for you guys with our comments. They all go to you guys. Any comments that you have, we'll try to answer, or it goes to Ron for part of the conditions of the draft resolutions.
Or to the applicant to get the answers
Yeah.
and bring maybe to the meeting, so you might not get your answer until.
Yeah.
So you
So-
send it to them, they'll start looking into it, but we may not know all the information until tonight
Yes.
or before.
So if we can answer, we're gonna answer it for you.
Mhm.
But there's gonna be times, as Adrian just stated, that we need to get with the applicant or the engineering, and sometimes they don't get back to us until tonight, or they get back to us and then we'll get it to you. So if you ever feel that you're not getting your answers, please let us know, because that's
Or
not the
double check
intent.
my emails.
Well, or,
Well, that's, so I've done the same thing.
Yeah, it's,
It's, you know, there's a lot coming and, you know, yeah, so this is
The week of, yeah.
yeah, Dan went back to on October 14th, Aaron, for PV 080621, you are only reviewing the preliminary subdivision. Your questions will be addressed when you review the preliminary site plan.
Jamie, those rating up again?
I'm sorry.
What did he say?
never mind.
So we all missed it, because I didn't get it.
It's okay. So,
So then my second question is, and I didn't think this was part of the site plan because it's here. So why do the seeker for this?
For the subdivision,
Yeah,
it's an action that you have to
so they're,
address before you can make a decision.
But
but
Ron,
nothing's
also,
happening.
every action that this board takes has a seeker action that we have to evaluate. And subdivision, based on Ron's evaluations, have been type 2 actions under seeker,
Mhm.
which doesn't really technically require any formal review of a form or really even a resolution, but it's been your guys' procedure to do the resolution and formal adoption. Site plan, on the other hand, will have some additional review associated with it that will take a lot longer for staff and your guys' comments as it relates to seeker.
So he's not gonna copy and paste
Right.
this seeker.
There's tons of applications that will come before you where we do both subdivision and site plan at the same time, and it's one action under seeker. This one, the subdivision was presented as a separate application. In order for us to move forward, we have to evaluate seeker. In this case, it was a type 2, really no formal review, lines on that paper. When they come before you with site plan, it'll be different than that. But you'll get projects that will have a subdivision and a site plan application that's going concurrently at which point the seeker form might actually state, this is for subdivision and the site plan action, and then we would evaluate both those type of comments as well as the subdivision ones.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, just to elaborate a little more on that, my report to planning board on the application identified that the subdivision would be a type 2 action. However, the preliminary site plan may be unlisted for a type 1 because of the fact that they're in an established agricultural district where the thresholds are reduced by 75%. Right. So till I see the site plan drawing and see what the disturbance is, you know, it could be either an unlisted or a type 1.
So, well, I don't want you to think that you didn't do anything tonight, because you actually did. I mean, I know we say it's just lines on a map, but there's really more.
Yeah, it's little lines on the map. I mean, it is creating a separate parcel.
Yeah, so you are truly doing something tonight, it just doesn't have the impact that it's like.
Yeah, it's not like a development, it's just that it is, you know, from a tax standpoint and stuff, it is separate.
But to be clear, those comments are still just as important as part of subdivision, because you're creating a potentially a residential lot that might come before you for that disturbance. So I don't think those are not applicable. They're not weighed the same now as they are as the site plan, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
All right, my turn. We're getting out of here early then?
We will, if you keep it short.
I think you were good, Ray, but you
I just had to stretch. Myers RV looks like it's going okay from what I see driving by to a point. I mean, is there some hiccups or?
There's been a couple of hiccups, but nothing that we haven't been able to handle with staff. Phase 2 is still moving along at full steam ahead. Phase 1, I was just out there yesterday, talking to them because I was concerned about them getting binder down before plants close. They are about a week behind schedule due to the water line.
That was last meeting.
Okay.
Behind that week of a week ago.
Right, so, supposedly they're putting in curb tomorrow.
Is the sidewalk only in?
No.
So sidewalk curb is tomorrow, and then binders next week.
The streetlights, we know they're not put up yet, like they don't work yet, because they're still doing too much.
I'm assuming they are powered.
They do not come on at night. They are not.
Powered up. I will look into that.
I think due to the intersect, the corner where they're still working.
Okay.
They have a power tomorrow.
It's not like
I will ask about that.
super life and death, I guess with it out there, it kind of makes sense to have them on, but.
I don't know if they,
And maybe it's because they're not right wired into a certain circuit for the.
What are their, out of curiosity, because they're still operational. What are their hours of operation? Do they have any lights out there right now? The original ones are still out there, right? I can't recall.
No, everything, the only thing that you lock is that building, so if there's a light bulb on the outside of that, that's it.
yeah, I think
There's no parking lot lights anymore, so.
they're not open when it's not light out.
Yeah, that's what I was just.
So that's gonna change in 2 weeks if we close at 5 o'clock. Because it's gonna be dark at 5 o'clock.
Well, I think we'll find that answer out.
Right, well, I thought it was, looked like it was fairly going all right, but I felt like there's some hiccups.
They're gonna issue minor tax.
I will look into the streetlights, but no, they are working through it. I'll have another report for you next meeting.
The hotel's still waiting for doors and windows.
Some of their doors came in.
Well, okay.
American Vets Day.
The one that's been being built for 6 years.
So I believe all
The
the,
records.
their windows are all in. They're still waiting on some doors.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
I can't follow that.
I don't either, so public, is there anybody left?
And no public's on right now.
Okay,
I got a couple of.
all right.
Dan, where do we stand with the car wash? They, I believe, it promised us they were going to get sidewalks in before winter.
I know that they're working.
That place is a construction site and a half, man.
I mean, they're not wasting any time, so.
So
Yeah,
yes,
put sidewalks for a parking lot for them.
yeah.
So I will look into that as well.
The other thing that Dan was gonna report to you on is Hathaway's Corners are gonna be moving some of their storage facilities around, clearing up that site where they've been operating from.
Were the construction guys coming in and out of, or?
All right.
So
So
they're paving like banshees.
there's an issue with that, because where they want to move it, they can't get power to their town. So they are gonna start moving some of their storage off of that corner, along 332. They own a strip that goes between the Mexican restaurant and Doctor's office.
It's all good.
Kind of stinker.
Yep.
That they cleared all out. They're going to start storing things there in a very neat manner. And they want, yes, and they want to move their trailers there, but they can't power on that. So the trailers, their offices are going to stay up on the corner until they get more power in that development.
Oh, is there no power through that area?
Not on that side of the road yet.
Oh.
So RG is way behind pulling power through there. So they're working on it. But they are gonna try to get that corner cleaned up because they want to start on the apartments. They go on that corner next summer.
Are all those roads supposed to be open by winter here, the way they're paving, or?
Yep, all the public roads. Now, remember, there's private roads within the middle, but all
Right,
the public around the
along
outside.
with the curbing, like the drain gutter, that's town road, right?
We're hopefully taking dedication Tuesday.
They put binder on the rest of Berry Place today. They also binder homes today. They got a couple of pieces of gutter to put in on homes.
Is that the little road by the Mexican place that they dug out?
Comes in, yeah, and they're working on some sidewalks on Berry, and they've got a little swale around one of the box culverts that they've got to get done, but they are feverishly working toward a dedication of that road to walkways through
So
there.
you didn't plow
That's their intent.
them? Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's it, thank you.
Good. And, okay. That's it. Motion to adjourn by, Adrian. Everybody done? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.